The Railgunner is one of the new characters in the Risk of Rain DLC, and I have been playing her non-stop for I think 4 days now. Ever since it came out, I've been trying to get her monsoon skin, all that sort of stuff, so I decided, why don't I just put it into a video, can do it for this week, and I just really want to talk about Railgunner. She's a really fun character, but also a really strange character compared to all the others in Risk of Rain. She seems like a much more supplementary or complementary character to other characters, where she works from a distance while others go into the front lines. But yeah, in this video I'll be talking about, her abilities, how you can play her, stuff like that, and what I think of her. So let's get right to it. Let's start talking about the Railgunner's abilities. The Railgunner's first ability is the Magnetic Accelerator, and it's one of her best additions, due to simply the fact that she can crit on every single shot if you really want to. The XQR system is alright, but it's not very effective without proc items. It doesn't deal enough damage and isn't fast enough to deal with crowds. You look at someone like Commando, who does the same amount of damage with his base attack, and it's good because he can also fire faster, he can also look at more enemies. The tracking system with it, I've always found, kind of aims at whatever's closest to you, not what you're looking at. So while it's got that tracking, it's kind of worthless if it's not killing the thing that you're trying to kill. The M99 scope is excellent, but with enemies like the Blind Vermin, it's not great for close range. It deals a lot of damage when you hit those crit spots, but it's kind of whatever if you don't. You want to be hitting those crit spots a lot with this. Mines are very annoying. Most characters have options that let them avoid full damage or at least deal some damage to enemies. Sniper is not designed to move much, but in single player enemies spawn next to you even though she's a long range sniper character. It's kind of annoying. You can use the mines to hit away from enemies and stuff like that, but it doesn't work very well because when you're trying to do stuff and you have to throw a mine to get rid of a crowd, it doesn't work. It's where proc items on the XQR system are very, very effective because mines will not be helping you with that. They're good for traversing, stuff like that, because they hit you quite high into the air, but besides that, I find them really, really annoying. Supercharge is very, very powerful, but I feel its use is only really worth it while you're fighting bosses, and even then, only if you hit a weak spot. So your weapons get disabled right after using it. While those weapons are disabled, you've only got the mine, and once again the mine doesn't deal damage and it will just hit you out of the way as well. The mines are useless, but Supercharge otherwise is really good for bosses and maybe a bit of crowd control. The HH44 Marksman deals 600% less damage than the M99, which might make it sound quite useless, but it fires much faster. I found myself using this one more often due to it being better at taking out smaller enemies faster. The scope zooms in less, but I didn't even notice that until reading the description of it for this video. The Polar Field device is probably your worst choice, as it removes any movement options you previously had. She already lacks maneuverability with only having the mines, and she needs to be able to get out of crowded situations, so don't really equip these. They'll slow your enemies down, but you have no traversal options by equipping these instead of the mines. The Cryo Charge is basically the Supercharge, but kind of toned down almost. It deals half the damage, and it doesn't have that weapon malfunction where you can't use them. You want to use this if you want to be firing off enemies faster, dealing big damage to more stuff. It won't one-shot bosses like the other one can, but it'll still be dealing a lot of damage to stuff without that lack of weapon use. You probably want to play with the artifact of command on Monsoon. Rainstorm and Drizzle, it's whatever, you can kind of get through those on any character, with whatever items you're given. But Sniper really requires specific items, especially ones with increased crit damage or chance, because they'll just both increase the damage. Items like the Lensmaker's Glasses or the new Laser Scope will make her incredibly viable, but keep in mind you'll want a lot of proc items like ukuleles or rockets to deal with crowds of enemies due to her lack of ability to do so normally. I find a lot of the time if I'm doing command runs I'll have a lot of crowbars, Lensmakers, all that sort of stuff. I'd also get Ceremonial Daggers because that takes out smaller enemies for you. Stuff like that where you don't have to deal with the crowd, you can deal with the big thing that you're aiming at, helps a lot more. It pierces and stuff like that, but you really want those proc items. I found that when you're playing her, especially on Monsoon, you want to be away from a lot of the action, you want to be looking into it and firing at it. So those mines will be really, really helpful. Another reason not to have the Polar Field devices. But, besides that, you mainly just want to be hitting those crit spots. Teleporters are quite difficult with her. You can take out the boss with relative ease because of the Supercharge or the Cryo Charge. You'll be able to just fire that off maybe once or twice and the boss is dead. It's the crowds that you have to deal with. Again, on higher difficulties, later stages, all that sort of stuff, you're just going to be wanting those proc items just so that you're hitting more than just one thing with your XQR. Overall, I feel that the Railgunner is a strangely balanced character. She's designed to fire enemies from a distance, but the way enemies spawn in this game doesn't work very well for that. They all spawn near you. I tried playing some multiplayer with her and she functions much better. With playing other characters like loaders or mercenaries keep the enemy's attentions while you deal a massive amount of damage from further away. Lets you aim better, lets you just take your time with stuff. She's very fun, don't get me wrong, but single player on her can be a nightmare, especially on Monsoon. I have an image up of my success rate on Monsoon runs with her when I started playing her. Thank you for watching. I don't normally do videos like this obviously, but I've been playing a lot of this character and I really like Risk of Rain. I was like, fuck it, I'm making more Risk of Rain content now, you know, stuff like that. My PS4 just went off. But yeah, this is the kind of, this is very unscripted, but yeah. If you enjoyed the video, I'm probably going to be doing stuff like this for the Void Fiend, stuff like that. But yeah. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you liked it. Hopefully there'll be more like this, or you can go and watch my other videos. They'll be at the end of the video, and you know, you can click on my channel. Yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later.